Welcome back to the Dodgeball World Championships in Austria. We're in the Blue Box Arena in Graz. Terry Thrasher back with you here with Halen Sky. Welcome back, Halen.
Well, thank you. Happy to be back.
I guess it's welcome back me. You were on here in the last match, so.
I was. You're the newcomer now.
That's right. And we're taking in another match from the women's division. We've seen Team USA on here once yesterday, and Team Sweden out there as well on the far side of your screen.
Yes, I was looking at the records before this game. Sweden has only gotten one game under their belt, and it was against Canada yesterday. So unfortunately it was a 16-0 blowout, but Amezcua, great catch there.
I love how she just pops up and is ready with that throw loaded up already.
Yeah, that's a high IQ move. You know, you always got to be ready. You always got to be supplying some pressure. So Sweden definitely trying to look for an improvement in this. And I'm sure most of us saw an explosive game between Canada and the U.S. yesterday. The U.S. keeping it very close, but just barely losing in a 7-5 final score. And so I know they're probably going to be wanting to increase their plus-minus as much as possible.
And that's just it. If Canada got a large win over the same team and the U.S. is, I'm sure, aware of that, then they may try to, if they do get ahead, they may try to start reaching that similar level of score. So
absolutely, because as we've talked about it, the way that playoffs is seeded is first best, second best, and such.
Yeah, and it's not to say Sweden might not have a chance to get there, but obviously with the U.S. being one of those gold medal favorite teams based on past history and the players who are out there now. Ooh, Amezcua dropping that one, though. We're seeing some of those good shots coming in. Like, Sweden are no slouches.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see Sweden. I don't want to discuss this as if they already have lost. So you never know what's going to happen in dodgeball. Anybody can, come out with some big momentum swings and some moves. And so I'm very, very excited for this match. I've never gotten to see Sweden play.
Yeah, we've been able to see some of their women in the mixed team on this court already. And we see them looking calm and collected. They are in a 3-on-3 with the Americans right now. So first point up for grabs. Lee doing well to dodge. Got that good lateral movement.
And unfortunately, Sweden's jerseys do not have the numbers on the front. They do have it on the sleeve, one sleeve. So a little difficult to see who is who, but we will try our best.
Paige Peterson there letting one go that you can see when the windmill throws are released just a bit too late. They just sky. And Peterson doesn't do that too often.
No, but in this hot gym, with the sweaty balls, it can definitely happen more frequently. Great take out of the right corner of Sweden.
Yep, and it's a 1-for-1, which I think is probably acceptable from both teams' point of view right now. Julia Ruffelt heads off.
Yeah, and I think Ruffelt telling her team, let's calm down, let's take this slow. And I think that's a great idea against the USA. If you can take your pace. And Sweden has arms. We are seeing some great, powerful throws come out of them.
Yeah, that last throw toward Peterson, I think, just caused her to have to step back for a moment. Okay, we get those crosses. There's that underhand.
That's the change-up. The overhand throw switches to the underhand for a fast release.
And we saw Peterson conditioning that, like she'd been faking. Ooh, what a throw, returning fire.
Fantastic shot.
1-on-1 for the first point.
34 is Matik.
London coming up to block that shot, though.
Matik with 4 balls, just sails that a little high over London. Oh, and that had some drop on it.
Yeah, good movement. Brianna London, of course, has a YouTube channel where you can see some of her training and some instruction on how she does some of those throws.
Yeah, longtime veteran on this squad.
Mati coming up, calm and collected, gets one on the blocking balls. London a bit off the mark on that. Both players playing it a little bit safe.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. In 1v1s, it's often the person that makes the first mistake that loses the match, not.
Yeah, and I feel like the most common mistake, subjectively at least, is a player throwing that second ball in a position where they're vulnerable. Ooh,
completely
London.
agree. And London got away with it there because Matik had to be flat on the ground, not ready to get up. So I don't mind that second shot from her there.
Yeah, that is exactly the time I think it makes sense to take those shots. You know your opponent's not going to pop up fast enough to catch you on the retreat before you get a ball in hand.
Our audience is picking up some noise here. Sweden's men's team really bring in the hype for the ladies.
Enthusiastic supporters, and you know if Sweden takes this first point, you're going to hear it. So are we.
Absolutely. Great block from Matik.
Yep, done well. That ball did get blocked back to the U.S. side, but in these one-on-ones, I don't think the extra ball matters that often.
No.
Good, powerful shot by London, but a well-blocked ball.
Yeah, and we're seeing Matik often just going down early, setting that ball in front of her. And I'm wondering if London will adjust to that with a drop throw or a curve.
Ooh, was she looking for a catch there?
Potentially. I know London likes them.
To the line, Matik's shot goes high. London comes up.
Matik's so good at getting small.
Yeah, and that's her go-to move. But I mean, she's such a small target behind those blockers.
Her head is just getting under it barely every single time.
I feel like London is calibrating her throws to just get closer and closer each time.
Oh, and London with an aggressive shot. And yeah, she is putting that arm out. She's falling back a bit. I think you're right, Terry. I think she is potentially looking for that. Matik stepping out on the back line.
Yeah, moment of frustration. But I think it was you saying it yesterday. We see the teammates. They are trying to make sure that she stays perked up. They're still supporting her. They do not want her to feel bad about that. She ground out a tough point.
Absolutely, and you do see her looking a little bit disappointed, but nothing to hang her head about. She was giving a fantastic 1v1 with a very experienced world-level player.
Yeah, very much holding her own. So 1-0 for the U.S., but that first point did take almost 7 minutes off the clock.
And that is a great pace that you want if you're Sweden.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's their best chance at staying within striking distance of this U.S. team. And then maybe, a good bounce here and there. Maybe you're able to tie them up, pull ahead even. The Americans, I fully expect to try and push the pace a bit more. And especially if they get ahead in player count, I think we'll see them be that much more aggressive.
Yes, and Sweden, if that was the case, should take advantage of that. Try to play a little slower and get that ball advantage as much as possible.
They do lose Ralfelt on the back.
Oh, and a valiant effort from Legulu,
I'm guessing.
Oh, and Pandolfi ankle sniping.
That's 2 hits in a row for her. She swaps out with Peterson. I was going to say she's the hot hand, but, well.
This U.S. team really bumping into each other on this back line.
Maybe they need to let somebody get out so that they have a bit more space to operate.
I like that, but Mezcua, what a dirty cross.
Beautiful throw from her. Going cross court under the blocker.
Yeah, you could tell that Ralfelt was not ready for that shot.
Sweden comes up on the attack. Mezcua still looking aggressive out there. That's often when she's at her best. Free-flowing, ready to throw. Gong's going to take over that corner now. So I like this fluidity being shown by the American side.
Yeah, the Americans, everyone can play every position. And that's really the test of a very strong team.
Okay.
And Gong taking a shot that, I would have taken a million times on Hansen there.
And I like what Kate Gong did. She, again, conditioned with fake, like she wasn't actually going to take it from up front. And then once the other player was within just easier range and not respecting those pump fakes, Kate let it go.
Yeah, the Swedish player definitely trying to communicate with her teammate, not really looking at what was happening in front of her. Matik looking for clarification. She thought she blocked, but just wanted to make sure the ref agreed.
That looked good, getting low behind 2 blockers. That off-body attempt sailing a little bit. And this is an intimidating sight, facing all 6 starters from the U.S. side. Oh, London is definitely reaching a bit.
Yeah.
Confident in the catching, but when it's that far off the body, it might be a little too confident.
And when you have 6 bodies, you can be a little greedy. The trouble comes when 3 players decide to be greedy in a row, right?
And that's when the momentum could risk swinging the other way, but I like the attack from Lee and Gong.
Oh, and it's another line violation for Matik. And, this makes me think of a player such as Lynn Kirkpatrick, who on the women's cloth team right now, but often you will see her in tournaments with teams that she's coaching or she's a part of. She'll stand at almost a warning line level.
Yes.
On the sidelines of her team, and anytime a player is starting to get too close to that back line, she calls out to them to push up, watch out, and maybe that's what Sweden needs right now, is just someone to have eyes on that. In particular, this is a very busy court when it comes to the colors of the lines on it. So Matique, unfortunately, the victim of the MVP, the line, twice in a row.
Sanchez off the rush. And Kirkpatrick also with that Instagram account, Dodgeball Corner, they had an exercise in there, if I remember correctly, practicing running the exact distance to where your line is. Ooh, nice hit.
Yeah, fantastic shot again from the right corner. Rolfelt.
That was the first time in the match for Greco. Ooh, Sanchez catches her back in.
Yeah, Sanchez read that like a book, knew it was coming.
That's some of that veteran experience that you do expect to see out of these long-time national team players for the USA.
Yeah, when you can pick up on a player's tells mid-game.
Hey, Sanchez got taken out there. So Sweden hitting on one, bringing it back to a 5-on-5. And that shot getting through the whole Swedish team. They're going to come up with a plan. 4 players strong. Okay, Kate Gong with the catch. And Mezcua tagged out.
Yeah, Mezcua looked. Well, I had the successful block. I tracked it, but I just didn't have a strong enough grip.
Halen, you may not know this, but I think the disarm should be removed as a way to get out in dodgeball.
Really?
Yeah. The ball suddenly becomes a live thing to hit just because you dropped it? No. Terrible.
Oh, but it's control. It's all about control. Oh, almost a double into Sanchez, but Gong smiling after she does not get that catch.
Gong setting up for that catch, though. Good position on her part, but better throw from Sweden.
A fun in-between games conversation would be maybe you, myself, and Ben just going through our hot takes on rules in foam.
Yeah, we'll start making the list. Prepare to argue.
Yeah, it would be like the debate club.
But with more swearing.
All right, Sweden, 4 balls, making a plan.
They come up and they get a hit on Pandolfi.
And Rolfelt, what an arm on that girl.
Lugiu is traded back. Yes, Rolfelt has made a lot of big hits for Sweden so far in this tournament from what I've seen. So.
And there's another one.
On that formidable catcher, Greco.
And I loved the angle usage they used on that throw on Greco. She's a very good catcher. I don't know if Sweden knows that, but they certainly treated her like she was, and giving the most optimal amount of angle to make it hard to get a straight-on catch.
Yep, coming in from both sides, making it difficult. Good blocks out there. Amescu is so alert at where her best opportunity is. Gets the hit on the far side.
Yeah,
you see her taking Ralfeld out.
Calling herself out as well, saying it wasn't a clean block. It looks clean to me, but she knows better than I do. Great timing from the left corner for Sweden.
Yeah, so Sanchez is out now. Peterson.
That's Friedrich?
I believe so. I think that's Michelle Friedrich on the far side.
Friedrich and Chigini. Chigini with a big block.
Yeah, getting turned around a little bit, but it still works, does the job. Peterson and Amezcua, those veteran forces out there for the American side. Peterson fishing for the catch, perhaps.
Peterson seems to much prefer to have no ball in hand when something's coming at her.
Yep, we've seen that a few times out of her. And she's sort of shortened that throwing motion a little bit. And it missed the mark.
Is that catching on my mic? Mitch just turned a fan towards me, and it feels great.
Yep, that's right. If you get a bit of a windsock experience in the audio, know that it's worth it for us.
So worth it. This gym definitely a little more reasonable in heat today because there's a lot less bodies in here.
And more fans, frankly.
Yeah.
Players have been sourcing them from just about anywhere they can. And Peterson is taken out.
A little frustration with dropping that.
Amezcua steps out, unfazed, gets that first hit on Chigini.
Yeah, Amezcua has a great arm. Friedrich taking an aggressive shot, but I liked it.
Amezcua sizing up the opportunity, a little bend on that ball. And threatens to go aggressive, but no, now just going to drive back her opponent, Friedrich.
Oh!
No, I don't think that was a hit. Amezcua, though, goes aggressive. Yep.
And I do agree. Friedrich's ball bounced up after hitting Amezcua, whereas the throw that Amezcua released hit Friedrich and went straight into the ground.
Yep.
So the ball that Amezcua threw died first, therefore rendering Friedrich out first.
Yeah, that is what I thought I saw as well. So the referees are talking about it. This is where the instant replay would make it immediately clear, if only. So they're going to talk because, yes, to expand a little bit on what you're saying, what matters is not when those balls are thrown, when they hit the player. If both players are live when they release their balls and those balls pop up in the air or whatever, both players are still alive until the ball goes dead, typically by having it hit the ground. So Amezcua having thrown that ball downward, and then from what we think we saw, it went off Friedrich and into the ground. Pretty much immediately causes Friedrich to be out, which would leave Amezcua as the only player in the match.
Yes. Very well explained, Terry.
I hope so. I hope that makes sense.
I think so.
And if that stands as it is, the Americans will have the 4-0 lead.
But a great point out of Sweden.
Yes, oh my goodness.
That was very well played, and that was a very close point. We've seen multiple close points. This score isn't really reflecting how well Sweden is playing.
And that's always the toughest hump to get over against these top teams, is actually closing out the points that are close.
Yes.
But the fact that they are right in it with the American side does show that these Sweden players have a lot of juice.
And we see the Americans make a roster adjustment here. We have Westman and Briones entering the game.
Yeah, the Americans have tended to keep a solid 6 on the court, maybe trying to find that rhythm really consistently with the group. Briones, though, immediately taken out, Sweden targeting one of the newbies.
I assume that was Ralfeld?
Probably. I didn't see who released it. I was looking at one of the convincing fakes on the other side, but...
Hansen eliminated.
It was on the body. It might have been catchable, but on the back pedal, she wasn't able to get it. So 5-on-5 now. Attack toward Pandolfi, who's done some damage earlier in this match. Westman covering for Pandolfi. Hands off the ball now.
Yeah, Rolfelt choosing to take a counter there.
Yeah, which has been working for her. That's a big part of her game.
Oh, good dodge out of 52. That's Chigini.
Now it's Sweden to the line. Just one throw, a return shot. And it's a couple hits.
Orn just dropping that.
Greco was traded though, so.
Orn looked so confident, lining up and squaring, and she squared properly. It was a valid attempt. That is a roller. Chigini just clarifying.
Yeah, it did look to me like it bounced, but it was with that low release. It's actually a little hard to tell. Sanchez showing some versatility in the throw releases here.
Yeah, Sanchez has a very strong arm for the U.S. We see Sweden take a pre-counter.
Yeah, but Westman kind of telling the team to reset and participating in the offensive shot. They catch Rolfelt.
Yeah, she made a great jump, but it's just clipping her. And I would like to see Sweden maybe hold off on those pre-counters a little more.
Okay.
Oh! Pandolfi
yep.
eliminated.
Okay. That was a try by Lee Guiu to try and get the catch sized up. And okay, the Americans end up taking it.
Yeah, and such an honorable play from Sweden. Bit of discussion. I think it'd be a good time. Oh, well, I guess it's 5 seconds before no blocking. I was about to say, I would love to see a timeout from Sweden. You know, get the morale up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe take a little more time, talk things down. Have teammates reassure each other that they still have plenty of confidence in the game that they're playing.
It's really easy when you're in this large of a deficit to feel like you need to play hero ball.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you start to see things like pre-counters or post-counters happen more often. When often that's really not the answer into this kind of game. You want to really rely on teamwork in those moments. And I say that from experience. I've definitely gotten in those moments where I'm like, well, clearly I need to make something happen and I need to throw. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's what Sweden is doing, but I'm saying it'd be very easy to fall into that. And so just taking a moment to reset and saying, let's forget about the score. If I'm the coach here in Sweden, I'm going to look at my team and say, new game, 0-0. This is a new half. We play a new 20 minutes, and let's forget everything that just happened.
Yep. Exactly. I think that's how you want to approach these things. And as we mentioned, Sweden's been right there in several of these points. So they haven't blanked on the scoreboard, but they've been oh so close a couple of times.
They really have.
Show it's doable for them.
Yeah, and I think if they can just tighten up some things, I think being faster on the backtrack after a throw. The U.S. is being very successful at catching people who might be a little slower to get back to the back line. But overall, you know, relying on those arms that are hitting, feeding those hot hands, maybe giving someone like Matik a ball defensively to, you know, be in the middle and block and survive, because she's been very successful in that regard.
Yeah.
You know, optimizing each of your players' strengths so that everybody's survivability rate can go up. The U.S., I mean, what can you say to a team that's up 5-0?
I feel like the most critical thing I can say is maybe don't reach quite so confidently for some of those balls.
Yeah, there's definitely a little greed over there. But they're having a good time with it, and that's also part of it too. That's part of why they're playing so well, is you can tell they're having fun.
Yeah, there have been smiles on the court pretty consistently, which we always appreciate seeing. And of course, the team swapping sides at half. They get about 5 minutes for halftime. The Americans already on the line, though. Ready to go. We don't need this extra 2 minutes.
Entering the game in the second half for the U.S.
Oh, that's right. We haven't seen her on the court so far for a point. That said, again, like, the Americans are out there, but there's still another 2 minutes in the half. So Sweden's currently using it to huddle up, hydrate, cool off. Coaches contributing a little bit of insight.
You can see a lot of players have adapted to taking towels and soaking them.
Yeah.
So that mid-game, you can just wrap yourself in a nice wet towel to try to cool off a bit.
Yeah, someone described that to me earlier today as air conditioning for people who don't have an AC machine. Makes sense to me.
It's resourceful. And you know what? These Swedish men have not let up with their energy. And that's a big thing that can help a team out in these moments.
That fan support can matter quite a bit. And as you said, they've been very enthusiastic, big grins on their faces.
They're actually, I think, cheering for one of the ball retrievers right now. And he looks a little like, don't give me this attention.
Well, like someone has said recently, maybe it was you too, the ball retrievers maybe at their best when you don't notice them too much.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're the unsung heroes. You never notice them when they're doing their job because you're focused in the game. You have it's escapism. You're fully in the flow because balls are just coming when you need them. But when a ball is not coming when you need it, or a ball accidentally rolls to the other side when it shouldn't have, then you notice your ball retriever.
Definitely, if you're the player on the court, when that happens, you definitely notice the retriever, as you said. And if they are the unsung heroes, maybe we have to turn them into the sung heroes. An album of dodgeball songs, perhaps, including the ode to the ball retrievers.
Ooh, are you writing one, Terry?
Toss a coin to your ball retriever? I don't know. It doesn't really fit.
Not quite. I did. Wow, a Witcher reference. Didn't expect that one to throw out.
It's the only one you'll see, too, since that show is... Well, anyway, we don't have to go into what happened to that show. Second half underway off the rush. The USA a little bit quick to that one. Look at that.
We are seeing a change in roster for Sweden, too. Some new blood, which I think is a great choice.
Yep. Linner and Ugla out there for the first times, I believe. Ooh, Rolfeld. The first ball came out up high. Greco playing out high for the Americans, trying to keep Sweden back. They've got 5 balls and only 1 coming in. And they're going to have to set up again. So I think most commonly when we see 5 balls in hand, we'd see 2 of them thrown at least. Okay, Westman taken out.
One thing I would say is something we're seeing the Sweden players do is when they're making a call, you're seeing a lot of the players actually look at each other when a play call is being made. And I'm surprised we're not seeing the U.S. take advantage of that. Because if you're not looking at me, I'm likely going to throw.
Yeah, it's one of those things that aggressive, confident throwers will often take that so that you do not feel comfortable setting up your plays. Ooh, there's that low delivery again from Sanchez.
Yeah, confident from the back line. Just a hot tip for at home. If you can keep your eyes forward while a play call is being made, it's going to help you a lot in your survivability. And it's a good habit from humans. We're trying to look at and pay attention and pay respect to the person who's talking, but... And
even just confirmation for the person making the call that everybody is on the same page. Like, we definitely understand why people do it, but yeah, against the aggressive tactics sometimes with the other team, you might just need to trust that if a teammate doesn't know the call, that you have a way to signal that, like repeat, something.
Yeah, usually there's vocal confirmation. I know for my team, when someone makes a call, all of us go, yup!
Yep, exactly. Very common.
Come up together.
Mezcue a shot toward Linner. He's done well to stay in, and now is the thrower. Okay, but there's a Mezcue again.
It's a great shot onto the knee.
Yeah, she is such a formidable player. When she comes forward looking to throw, she almost always picks the right target and always has such a good throw. Oh, that one, into the ground.
And
off Greco.
A catch from Matik.
Yeah, that's big.
And it brings in Hansen. And we are in a 3v3.
So here's one of those points that Sweden try and close out. They haven't quite been able to do it so far, but this is another good chance for them.
I like the choice to throw it in Mezcue. She's been very effective on the offense.
Yep, she's also elusive, of course. And part of how she plays such good defense is constantly looking like she's ready to be on offense.
Yeah.
That's part of how she creates space for herself.
You never feel comfortable throwing at her.
Great fakes out of this U.S. side, keeping Sweden back on defense. Matik gets the extra ball. Let's see if that makes her the thrower. Ooh, nope. Not the only one anyway. Lunar just does a fake.
And if the timing could just be a little faster to throw at Mezcua before the ball reaches her ankles. It's those little timing things that can make a difference.
Yeah, and these American players are obviously so experienced at knowing what those timing windows are and how to execute on them, that there's not a lot of room for error for the Team Sweden players.
Yeah, Sweden is showing a lot of great things. They're showing good teamwork. They clearly have some accuracy, as we see Hansen throw into Mezcua.
Yeah, honestly, not a bad play from Hansen. Just Mezcua able to collapse on that ball. And Matique is taken out.
Yes, yeah.
Not by the line, notably.
But as I was saying, Sweden has good players. They have a strategy. They're sticking to it. They're communicating. There's a lot of really great things here. It's just those very small, what are the words? Oh, it's gone. Intangibles.
Intangibles, okay, yep.
Is that the word I'm looking for? I think so. Such as like the fakes in between movements or the timing on when to make a heads-up play. And that just comes with time and experience, which a lot of the U.S. players have.
Yeah, and I think for Sweden, if they were watching a match like this later and looking for things to improve on, all they have to do is look at some of their counterparts and just what subtle things they do that are a little bit different when they're on the back pedal or creating space for their teammates with pump fakes.
Yes.
Because it's not that big a difference from what Sweden's been showing so far.
Or just being a little more active on your toes when you're on the back line to dodge.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing a lot of heels down.
Yeah, light on your feet is a good way to give yourself the best chance to avoid those incoming shots.
We see a throw from Rolfelt. Sanchez taking one as well.
Toward the middle. Briones gets out of the way. London with the block on the Rolfelt ball.
Oh, my apologies. That's London. Okay.
Sanchez is in the other corner now.
In the other corner, yep.
Maria Lee's back out there for Team USA in the middle with the ball now. 5 from Sweden. They realize it's not their throw. Lee's going to make the call.
And you see Sweden's ball retriever actually telling the team to step up and hits Friedman in the back while he's trying to pass.
Couldn't get your hands on that, Friedman?
Yeah. Oh, good dodge from Rolfeld. That's a heads-up play. Throwing and then immediately choosing her dodge because she knows something's likely coming back.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Good awareness from her. She has definitely been a standout for me watching this Team Sweden side.
Yeah, definitely my MVP right now.
Nice sidearm delivery for her. Matique hanging onto one ball. Ugla gives up the ball to her wing. Look at that try cross court from London and then falling back, and that one popping up into the arms of Ugla.
Great team catch.
Good awareness. You love when your teammates are paying enough attention to bail you out like that.
And now we have 5 balls with Briones. Strong fake set. Draws Rolfelt into a throw.
I also don't want to miss that London, after letting go of her ball, knowing that one might be coming in, she did that sink backwards and try to get her hands on it. Ooh, Matique, no.
Almost catching it, but... Oh, and she's just calling for a mop.
Yeah. Makes sense.
The amount of times I almost start singing a song about mops that is very famous but should not be sung.
You don't want to get us copyright claims.
No.
All right, now that that is attended to, referee making sure that Sweden's good to go. They reset to the back line. We're looking at 5-on-5, 3 balls in hand for both teams. 13 minutes to go. It's the throw from Briones toward the right side of this Sweden line. Okay, they elect to send 2.
And Friedman trading Sanchez. Friedman should be happy about that, for sure.
Yep, nothing wrong with the 1-for-1 in this scenario, but their Team USA spends 2 balls to get Hansen. Sweden still with 3. Okay, they go to the opposite corner. Rolfelt with the try there. Oh, that ball may have gotten away on a pass across. It's now in London's hands. And Team USA is going to get to set up again. This time it's Westman making the call in the middle. Takes a shot. Rolfelt with the counter, though.
Great shot onto Westman. And now we're in a 3v3 again.
So Sweden once again right there with their opponents. Good strong fakes again from the Americans. Ugla staying low.
Yeah, Sweden very quick to get into a defensive positioning when they know it's on the U.S. to throw. Both has its advantages and disadvantages.
Linner showing that cloth experience of just dropping the ball in place, remembering it is okay to pass it to a teammate.
Yeah.
Doing so on our way off the court. Ooh, London catches Rolfelt. That was a big arm delivery from Brianna London. Ugla, as you said, settling into that defensive posture. Okay, it works out this time. Briones is going to be vigilant and causes Ugla to elect to take a very safe throw.
Yeah, Briones was very strong fakes. Great pressure from the middle. And I really like Ugla's decision here to not go too high, throwing from further back in order to ensure that she can safely retreat.
Ooh, good block. Tara Pang coming up with speed, but does settle back, waits for another ball to come in. Now comes up, looks, okay, I like what she did. She looked across to make sure London was coming up with her before committing all the way to the throw.
Yeah, getting the timing at once so it's harder to block.
Briones, will she take it? It's so hard to tell. All three Americans up at the line now. Two of them come in. Ugla with a good block again.
Yeah, Ugla very successful in this position. Oh, Briones looking for that catch, and I don't mind the choice because Ugla's been hard to hit in this back corner.
Yeah, we've seen some teams with elite blockers do this. Just stay back, make it very hard, maybe frustrating for their opponents, and then maybe you can bait out a mistake like that.
Yeah, and when you're 30 minutes into a game, your accuracy tends to struggle a little more.
Sigrid Ugla playing this well. Okay, and it looks like Peng's out.
From a line violation.
Was that the center line doing its damage?
I think it was the back line potentially.
Okay, fine. Brianna London steps into that one. So the players are cross court from each other now.
This is very reflective of the first point of the game. Ugla replacing Matique in a 1v1 against London.
And these are the situations where those curveballs can come in really handy. If you have a strong blocker like Ugla, getting down into that defensive stance, straight on throws are unlikely to get through. So I think we'll see London making use of the drop curves and the inside curves.
Ugla looking for confirmation. I was fairly certain that was bounced as well.
Yep. Okay, London getting another one right on target, forcing those blocks to be good.
Yeah, this is a tough game, and you know London wants to rush her down before she can get into that position, but that's a tiring thing to do over and over again. And a lot of people, I don't think, recognize how tiring this back and forth in a 1v1 can be. When you throw, it's a full body movement using all muscles, and that's exhausting over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us have throws you can do without putting your whole body into it, but they're not going to work if the opponent's a top blocker who's already in that position, so. Ugla doing great work here. Sends one in. London responds.
Yeah, and I think London is potentially lining up to do a pre-counter for when Ugla comes up to throw, which I think is a good adjustment. But she hasn't quite taken it.
Maybe just saving that for a moment that she likes a bit more.
It is hard, too, because Ugla has had the 4-ball advantage for the most part.
That's right. So she only has to throw one, and then that puts the onus back onto London.
Taken by the U.S. And I like this. The U.S. not really having to make too many strategic adjustments, so why not use a timeout to give your players some rest, some water, when it's a really close game, and I feel like timeouts are very valuable for strategic talk. Not my favorite use of a timeout. But in this particular circumstance, definitely usable. Definitely a good idea for the U.S.
There are definitely moments where it makes sense to spend the timeout exactly this way, and I think this makes sense. Either team taking it, I would have said that makes sense. Team Sweden's male players continuing to cheer on the women down there on the court.
Yeah, they're not exhausted for their match whatsoever.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they already played, which is almost more impressive.
All right, so everybody huddles breaking off. We're going to get back to the match shortly.
Yeah, you can see London applying some chalk, as are some of the Swedish players. And yeah, referee Case saying you must start with all balls in the court. That is true. They have to be in your possession, but Ugla can very quickly just,
Exactly.
push them right back out to her retriever.
London with a bit of a fake before settling into the take, but Ugla already in that blocking position. London again with the attack.
And again, the adjustment I want to see from London is taking the shot when Ugla comes up already, like this. Oh, very close.
Yeah, and I think Ugla's actually fine with this too, because she's been taking those safer shots. This puts London in a more exposed position. So maybe both players embracing the risk a little bit. London gets one through, but again, Ugla was ready in that block. This one-on-one going on for a while. We're seeing the conditioning and the skill set come into play for both of these players.
Strong blocks on both sides. Yeah, and you see London wanting to really block and go, as my coach would call it.
Yeah, already in motion a bit as the block happened. So see active feet. Brianna London gets all the way forward, gets that ball away, but so far has not been able to take out the Swedish player.
And that's when you're going to see more and more when people are tired, is that ball going into the ground early.
Okay, London gets control of that one. And now is able to set up.
Now, the interesting thing is we know London is capable of throwing curves and drops. And I don't know about you, Terry, but I haven't seen too much of those.
Not, or at least not as much curve as I have seen on some of Brianna London's throws. So.
Yeah, it's lots of straight ons, which a straight on the throw is what a blocker wants.
Yes, especially if you're straight across now.
Yeah.
But I think straight across is when there's an opportunity. If you want to get those drop shots, this is the position you can most easily do it from. London only has one ball in hand now.
You can see London taking some deep breaths. It's been a long 1v1. And
London
there's the catch.
Finds the catch. At long last, the point is over. Ugla hanging in there all the way to the bitter end.
You know what's funny, Terry, is I often go to really high-level catchers and I go, tell me how you do it. And almost none of them give me a real answer. And instead what they tell me is, I just don't like dodging.
Okay.
And so they learned to catch instead. And London clearly tired in that moment, probably not wanting to move anymore. And she said, you know what, I have a different skill I can use.
I did feel like as she saw where that one was coming, she's like, okay, this is the one.
And it was a great one to take.
And now, it feels so weird to see this many players on the court, but we're back to the start. Sweden does lose a couple, though. Team USA continuing where they've left off.
Pandolfi eliminating Rolfelt.
Sanchez looking to do some damage as she gets back out there. London, of course, taking a well-deserved rest, as is Ugla.
Oh, and Greco looking for that catch, but it's just a little off body. Great placement for Matik.
Yeah, that's where you want to put those shots on these top catchers. Yeah, Sweden attacks again.
Whoa.
Gets a graze on Peterson. Linner taken out in response.
Linner jumping high, but Pandolfi tracking.
Friedman is the one to take the shot. Sanchez with a good block, attacks. And that's all. Team Sweden to the line. They've got 4 in hand. Okay, Kate Gong. Nice movement to get away from that.
Oh,
wow, big shot.
Getting through the block. Matique giving Pandolfi a clap, saying nice shot.
And Team USA is going to want to finish this one a little faster than the last one went.
And
Second
they do.
ball. And again, just barely staggering the timing. First ball was cleanly blocked by Friedman. Second one, though, she had nowhere to go. Not enough time to reset the ball. Really well-placed shots by the Americans.
And that's what you want from a stagger. There's a lot of times that sometimes people throw staggers too long in between. It's like a boom, boom, boom. That's too much time. That gives a lot of people time to adjust, to re-dodge, to block and track more. But boom, boom is very difficult to adjust to, and often you can't at all.
Want more of a flam for any drummers out there listening.
Ooh.
Okay, Team USA having gotten 1 hit early on. They're up 6-5 in players right now with a little over 2.5 to go. Nice throw from Rolfelt.
We see Rolfelt switch corners, making a bit of adjustment here. Pandolfi has been handling her quite well, and so maybe she wants to try something new. But Pandolfi with a cross, hitting Chigini.
Yeah, and Hansen did not have a ball in hand to try and punish that, so Team USA gets the extra out. They get some shots off.
And that is a choice I love. When you're locked up with a corner and that person throws center, and you, instead of punishing that person for throwing, hitting somebody else that isn't paying attention is very effective.
Yeah, some teams will do that. So I think the beginner way to think about corner is if your opposite corner lets it go, you let it go at them. But I do think one of the natural evolutions of that is, okay, they don't have a ball in hand. They can't protect their teammates now. Go for a teammate.
Yeah.
Rolfelt the target that time. Ooh, Hansen couldn't quite get it.
She was so squared up for it. It was a good choice, but Pandolfi just lots of firepower.
She's really stepping into these throws. Sanchez too. And Mezcua, look at the desire to get on top of that ball. Pandolfi gets Matique.
Again, Pandolfi is just on fire right now.
Mezcua daring those balls to be picked up or thrown.
Oh, and she gets her. Great shot by Linner.
And yeah, I think Mezcua is pointing at the potential cleanup spot.
Yeah, we saw Shota, the mop man, twitch as if he was going to go clean it, but refs had not stopped play. Oh, and a great shadow catch from Sanchez.
Yeah, great positioning for her. She could see what the angle was if that went over Kate Gong. It did. Now Shota gets his chance to mop things up.
Thank you, Shota.
We appreciate everyone who stayed near those mops to help out.
His mopping will make it into one of his highlights.
That's a good question. He's got some nicely edited stuff on, I forget what his Instagram handle is now, but it's easy to find him on Instagram if you're so inclined. See some nice dodgeball highlights from the young American. The Dodgeball Show. That's what he does.
But S-H-O.
Yeah. The rush botched just a little bit on the handoff by the Americans, but the Sweden's not able to try and take a shot. And Mezcua providing cover for Gong. Everybody's tossing. Hansen's out. And the clock says 0, so everybody was tossing because we were right near the end. Shota Barbo is back out there.
He looks like a natural with that mop.
That's right. Good forearm action, I'd say.
I wonder if he, has worked in a Tim Hortons or somewhere in his youth where he'd have to mop the floors. Or maybe he's just, a clean boy.
Isn't he? I think he's from Atlanta. I don't know if they have Tim Hortons there.
That's my Canadian showing right there.
Yeah.
A very common first job for many youth.
Well, we're in no blocking. Got to think that favors the Americans. Oh, Rolfelt remembering that it's no blocking just a moment too late.
Yeah, great underarm from Sanchez.
Yeah, perfectly on target from her. And again, just trying her luck. Pandolfi just barely getting out of the way of a shot. Team Sweden's got 4. They're going to go again. Pandolfi Knew exactly what she wanted to do, taking out Linner.
I want someone to so incessantly encourage me like the Swedish men do in my life.
And not even just for dodgeball.
No, like, can they follow me around and be my live track, cheering me on through everyday life?
Friedman taken out.
Yeah, Sanchez just showing, oh, Chigini putting the balls in front of her as if she was going to block.
What a surprise. Greco showing I will catch. Ooh, and I will throw.
Yeah, a very elite level when it comes to support is Greco. She goes for that catch. Matique, a great blocker, but you can't block in no blocking, so how will this go?
Amescua looked like she was diving for that catch, and there Sanchez finishes it off again. So accurate. Team USA, a very strong effort as we expected from them, and Sweden showing a lot of fight.
Yeah, great amount of fight. I think the first half we showed a lot more life for Sweden. There was a lot of really close points that got away from them a little bit when it came to the second half, but nothing to hang our heads about. There's lots of great things to take from this match that they can carry with them further on, and we love to see this. And the Swedish men teasing the women's team on when they're going to finish that cheer off. We love to see it. That's a great sense of community.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that. And look at now, they're cheering USA. The Sweden men showing their appreciation.
I love this. This is what Worlds is all about.
Yeah, this is really nice from them. This is going to sound terrible from a Canadian, but you don't hear non-Americans doing the USA cheer very often. So Team Sweden, very gracious in defeat here.
Definitely.
And we've got a two-team photo.
Oh, I'm going to take a photo. I can. Haha.
All right, the spirit of community alive and well here at the Dodgeball World Championships. Graz, Austria playing host this year. The heat's not fun, but everything else about this tournament has been. And so with that, we're going to sign off for this match. And just letting you know what's coming up next, we're going to have a men's foam match, Colombia and Italy.
Oh, that should be a good one.
I hope so. And so we will be back with more dodgeball action in just a few minutes.